Jerry and Charlie riding through the airwaves, bringing you the heat. Come on, pull your Mets fans, now get up out your seats. They're bringing you all things Mets. They're bringing you all things Mets. They're bringing you all things Mets. Now you're listening to Chase Station.
Today is Wednesday, October 9th. The Mets have won Game 3 of the National League Division Series in convincing fashion. They haven't played a simple game in weeks, and that was about as simple as it gets considering this team. So much to love from yesterday's performance, from Sean Manaea to home runs reaching the upper deck in right field to the Citi Field crowd being electric for 3 straight hours. If you couldn't tell by the sound of my voice, I was a part of that crowd. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jack, aka Jolly. Joining me is two-time New York Sports Emmy Award winner Jerry Blevins. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. What an intro. That's pretty cool. Thanks for mentioning it. I did win the Emmy yesterday for Sports Analyst in Studio.
Claps.
Pretty proud of it. I didn't think I learned I got nominated a couple of months ago. And I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to win, but I didn't really think about it. When I won, I was like, shit, I really wanted to win.
Yeah.
The competitiveness coming out, something that I couldn't fathom caring about before because I didn't know these things existed. And it's not, it's not a huge deal. But to me, I was like, yeah, I'm decent at my second job, which is pretty
That's
cool.
right, baby. That's right.
But let's get into these Mets. First of all, Citi Field, electric. That was awesome. Shout out to the Mets fans that showed up. I know not everybody can. I know it's crazy expensive, but the environment was awesome. It played so well on TV. Like, it exuded it. Everyone always talks about Citizen Bank. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it's a great ballpark. The fans are crazy. It's true. But Citi Field, electric yesterday. And has been electric in a lot of moments that kind of gets overlooked. I'm glad it showed out yesterday.
Yeah, it's I talked a little bit about it late in the office yesterday, but a couple of key differences was, one, this is a team that is worth going bananas for. It's a team worth paying the extra dollar for. It's a team worth cutting out of work early for, because they are just on some kind of special run right now. And you could feel the difference in the environment from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this fan base caught a lot of slack for not showing up to games late in the season, not packing the house in the wild card round. And I think that this is the rectification of that, because this team has defied the odds. This team had to go away for a while and do it on the road without the fans. And they earned that environment yesterday. They came back home expecting a capacity crowd, and that's what they earned, and that's what they got. Between the new ownership regime just doing it right with the block party outside, bringing back Matt Harvey and John Franco to be with the fans and hype up the crowd, and the food trucks outside and the fans mingling, the tailgating, it felt like a proper playoff game environment, and you could tell by the moment you stepped foot in the parking lot that this was going to be a different kind of experience. The rally towels were a really nice touch too. I've still got mine. I'm going to cherish that forever. That was awesome. Great idea. And I don't know. I think that the fans really did their job yesterday. I think that the Mets fans have gotten some slack before for attendance numbers and not being as invested in the team as maybe some people think they should have. Yesterday, that was not the case, and it made me very proud to be a Mets fan.
Agreed. Yeah, they showed out. They showed who they really are. And again, the 22 team, the way they played down the stretch, all the above, it felt like they were falling apart. And then the attendance in 22, the environment felt like they were kind of, the fans' portrayal was the same as the team. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you're right that the team earned this. Like when Nimmo towards the end of the season was like, hey, we expect, like, you guys wanted this.
Yep.
This is what you got. Show up. Prove it that you wanted this. I was like, oh, shit, are they going to show up? It's kind of difficult. Kids are at school, all the above. They were incredible. Incredible environment. Awesome.
So now that we've set the stage, let's talk about the game because the game was really just eventful and quick paced and so much action. The duel between Sean Manaea and Aaron Nola. I want to give a little bit of context for Sean Manaea first, and for two reasons. One, Sean Manaea enters this game with a postseason ERA of 10.6 in his career over 4 outings. It has been a tough situation for him in his career. You go the clip that kept going around was 2 years ago in the championship series. Manaea against the Phillies, he got rocked, gave up multiple home runs, didn't make it past an inning in a third. Just a really bad outing for him, and it kind of paved the way for the Phillies to win that series when the Padres blew that lead. Sean entered this game as a different man with a different mentality. He had lost his aunt who passed away in the morning of this game. So he was dealing with that on top of everything else. And he pitched the game of his life. He might have had better games this year in terms of performance and strikeouts and all of that, but that was the game of Sean Manaea's life. It wasn't perfect. There were base runners on and tons of innings, but the contact and the threats of the Phillies lineup put no fear in him. And it was a really special performance to watch from a fan perspective, to watch the ace take the ball in a must-win game and just fucking deal. Really cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. And that was, I mean, he is the ace. Like he's taken that reign. He struggled in Milwaukee, not struggled, but he wasn't dominant. He wasn't getting the same movement on his pitches, all the above. We talked about a lot of different things, but he was an ace, 100% showed up. Could have finished the eighth inning.
I think so.
I think so, but I thought it was the right move when they brought in Maton. It was time just to be safe, not to put yourself in too much pressure. He was great. And you nailed it, by the way. Starling Marte's hit to add runs.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Give him opportunity to continue on.
Yep.
But Manaea pitched incredibly well. He attacked all day. He minimized damage. It was just a masterful performance in a game that was fairly a must-win situation for the Mets. He needed to show up and be the person that we've seen down the stretch, and he was every bit of that.
Yeah, and then he's going up against Aaron Nola, who's making his 10th playoff start with pretty fantastic numbers across the board. A guy that's been there, done that before, in an equally important game for his Phillies. And how different this game could have been if in the first inning the Schwarber ball goes out. It's a 94-mile-per-hour fastball, pretty much center cut, and Schwarber gets it, and it just somehow in the stadium it felt like it was going. And I was like, oh no, here we go again. Dies at the track. Cool. If the Lindor ball goes out, same situation, leadoff hitter pulling a fastball deep to right center field. Both those balls don't go out, but it could have been such an electric start. Instead, Lindor waits for his buddy Pete Alonso to show him how it's done. Deep to right field, disappears into the second deck, home run off Aaron Nola on a high and away fastball. And the crowd is instantly into it in the bottom of the second inning. 1-0 Mets there. Pretty cool moment to watch some playoff bombs. This team is back to hitting the home run. We watched them win in Milwaukee with 11 singles and a bunch of runners in scoring position, clutch hits. This team is back to the long ball, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, they're at their most dangerous when they play. Obviously, like this is silly
analysis,
to point out. Yeah, this is obvious analysis, but when they're doing small ball approach and run into some home runs.
Yeah.
That is when they just changed the trajectory of this whole season, is when the lineup depth, because guys can put the ball in play and make things happen. And then you got your big home run hitters hitting big home runs.
Yep.
I wanted a last piece on Sean Manaea.
Sure.
The 3 hardest balls he gave up all night were all 3 outs in the first inning. Got away with a lot. They were all 106 off the bat. It was Schwarber's flyout was 106.8. Trey Turner's ground out was 106.6.
Lindor made a couple nice plays on those two.
Very nice. And then Harper's ground out was 106.3. Like these balls were scudded, got out of it, and then settled right in. It was beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes things just have to kick your way. And in that first inning, things certainly kicked his way.
Perfect timing on those. Yeah.
Yes. And we go to the fourth inning. Mets are up 1-0. I thought the Tyrone play in center field was pretty massive. It's one out, nobody on. Sean has been cruising, escaped a jam in the previous inning. Bohm finally gets one. He had been 0-4 in the postseason. He rocks one to right center field. That's when he's at his best, when he's going the opposite way and doubling in gaps. Tyrone plays the carom off the wall perfectly, ditches the glove, goes bare hand, grabs it, fires a perfect dart on 2 bounces to Lindor to place the tag on Bohm trying to stretch a double. The Phillies go from getting a runner on in another inning, the third straight inning, and possibly threatening again, to 2 out, nobody on because of outfield defense. So I thought that play was really cool because in the bottom of the inning, Jesse Winker, who barely missed the 0-2 fastball in the second, just barely, Nick Castellanos makes a great play, loses it on the transfer. Jesse doesn't miss this time. It's 2-1. He gets that same pitch, and he ropes it to the upper deck and sends the crowd into an absolute frenzy. Another solo shot, and he pimps it. He watches it. He celebrates hard. I'll say it once. I'll say it a million times. You love Jesse Winker if he's on your team. You hate him if he's not, but he's on our team, and I love him. 2-0 Mets.
Yeah, man. That's first of all, Tyrone Taylor's play, excellent. Great job by Lindor to keep the tag on to where he caught the ball. It's not an easy play to make with the runner sliding into you. We saw on Bader's stolen base how much it affects, the guy sliding in on and judging the bounce with how Trey Turner couldn't handle it. He was out if he catches the ball. But that was a great play by Tyrone, who's made tremendous plays all season long. He is a very good outfielder. But that home run, Jesse loves being the villain.
I think he loves being a Met as much as he loves being a villain.
I think it's because being a villain in Queens is different. The boos that he got, he loves being booed. He got booed by the Mets hard. But he loved it, and he's like, this is my kind of city. If I can turn these fans to be on my side, I would like it. It invigorates him the way he invigorates the crowd. Just beautiful. If I were pitching and he watched, like, that would piss me off so much that I would want to get him out so bad the next time that I might make a mistake. That kind of stuff. The slamming of the helmet, the screaming at his teammates. He loves it. He's fully embraced his villain, arc. Every team needs one of these guys too. Every team needs a guy. That's the biggest thing.
Like from a objective standpoint, the Mets did well to acquire Winker at the deadline because they needed a left-handed power bat, someone to go in the DH tandem with JD Martinez. He's a rental guy, so you don't have to worry about a potential contract being lumbering or whatever.
Or even giving away prospects to...
Or even giving away a Big Ten prospect. That's a great point. Outside of all the logistics of having a Jesse Winker on your team, this team needed someone that thrives from toxicity. Because we've seen them shrink in so many big moments when they're on the road in hostile environments, and they have big crowds going at them and booing them and like letting them know they're not welcome and all that stuff. Jesse Winker is just a different kind of player. And I think that this team not only embraced him, but are learning from him, learning that they don't have to give a shit about what other teams' fans think. When they come back home here, they get all their power again. They all the quotes from the postgame were about how they felt the crowd, they felt the electricity. And it takes a guy harnessing that in bad environments to really make you understand how powerful it is when you're home. And Jesse Winker, he's just been a perfect New York Met, and I couldn't be happier to have him on my team because I said it yesterday, get people who want to be on the Mets on the Mets. I've dealt with tons of people who have badmouth the organization when they left, treated it like a laughing stock, all that. Jesse Winker's not one of those guys. He's wanted to be here since he was a Cincinnati Red 5 years ago. He's here now, and he's fully embraced it, and it's a special thing to watch.
Yeah, he's a fun piece of the team. Like this team
Yep.
has so much personality. They have so if It would be so fun if I were a kid and I love the Mets to try to figure out who my favorite Met is
Hmm.
because we have the whole gamut. You have your pick of whatever type of player that you want. You can pick it. Like it's wonderful. Um, they have just so many different personalities and types of players. It's truly like just a fun group of players to watch play the game.
It really is. I love what you said, full of personality, because you just go up and down the active roster and you can find 10 different types of people, but they've all come together into this wonderful group. One of those characters is Sean Manaea, who I've grown to really adore through just him being an awesome teammate. Him wearing the 4-0 eye black in game two to root on his boy was really cool. The other starters did it for him in this game. Um, really special stuff. That sixth
My
inning
my,
got scary.
my
Good.
favorite was Manaea's rally cap.
Yeah, I mean, that might have saved the season, Jerry, for all we know. That might
He's
have
so
saved the
like
season.
for such a big human being, Manaea is such a teddy bear and he's so
Mhm.
lovable.
Big friendly
Um,
giant.
yeah, man, he's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm very happy for him. But that sixth inning was, yeah, I'll let you dive into it. Let's stay on
yeah.
task on the game.
It's fun to have our little sidetracks, though. I had the rally towel covering my eyes because I was terrified. He walks Schwarber on 6 pitches, pretty backbreaking to work him to that count. You've been handling Kyle Schwarber throughout this entire series. You lose him there. Trey comes on. He walks on 5 pitches. Shamanai doesn't even get a second strike. He's
He doesn't
wild.
everywhere. I was like, oh, did he just lose it? Which he
It,
did.
it felt like he lost it in that moment. I was like, well, shit. Okay, now you got to think about ramping up the bullpen because you know Bryce is going to do something here. Bryce strikes out on 3 pitches.
Three three nasty pitches.
That sweeper low and away that was just in another universe.
To me, the first like the whole sequence was amazing, but the first pitch changeup left on left, because you know he's like, all right, he's gonna try to throw me that sinker up, and
Mm,
he throws his changeup in that same spot that sinks, and he swung so hard over top of it. I was
yep.
like, woo! That gave me the chills because I was like, what a gutsy, perfectly executed pitch to get you ahead of their most dangerous hitter. And then he throws the perfect sweeper off of that, like dotted away and down out of his danger zone. And then he throws the perfect pitch off of that that
Hmm.
starts middle and then just takes a huge right turn and gets another chase to go. Like, I have no idea where the ball's going to executing three straight pitches exactly how you would draw it up. It was awesome against their best hitter with two on and nobody out.
Just that might have been, besides like the home runs in the end of the game, that might have been the loudest the crowd got. That strikeout, because I think the whole building understood what was at stake. 2-0 is nothing when you consider the Phillies offense. One swing and the Phillies are in front, and that's the last guy you want up in that scenario. To punch him out on 3 pitches to make like mincemeat of Bryce Harper on a national stage was awesome. Truly
It truly
awesome.
was.
He gets ahead of Castellanos 0-2. Love the way we pitched to Castellanos this game, by the way. No complaints from me. Just saying. Um, Castellanos puts a pretty good ball in play here. Like he lines one towards the middle. For off the bat, it looks scary, but it just finds Jose Iglesias and he flips it to Lindor and they get the double play. And Manai gets to pop off and unleash all that energy. What could have been a disastrous inning, the top of the order, first two guys get on, the big bats come up. For the Phillies to score no runs was a massive swing in this game, especially considering the Mets offense, what they did in the bottom of the inning.
Absolutely. I mean, momentum shift in 6 pitches. Their first two guys on, their two big bats that have been clutch for them coming down the stretch. Punch out, just diced up. Bryce Harper gets ahead, throws a really good changeup, maybe a little up, but it was off the plate like
Yeah.
And Castellanos is a big guy, was able to reach out to it and just slaps it with the barrel, sticks his barrel out there. And luckily, they had it right shifted because that's the only place that you're going to be able to hit that and get a double play. The scream that Mania let out on the way off the mound, that to me, that is the image of the entire game.
Yep.
Like the way he came off and he's got his scream. It was like chills to come up clutch in that moment. Your defense behind you, everything, all of it happened to show the emotion of like, I did that. I escaped that. Let's go, boys. Like he screamed, let's go. Awesome. That's the image I have so far. That's the locked in, seared into my brain image of this game.
I was just happy for him as a human being. Like
Yeah.
so much adversity to get to this point. So, I mean, he said in his post game, way more lows than highs in my career, just being very reflective on it all. But he's emerging. He's blossoming before our very eyes as a true SP1, and I'm really happy for him. And he wasn't done after that, which is pretty cool. He wasn't done after that for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, we flipped the script on him. We got our first two guys on. Vientos hits a good single, and then Nimmo walks.
Yeah.
And then Pete Alonso's up. Pete Harper, our big power threat kind of guy. And Pete works a walk. So it's bases loaded, nobody out. Nola's gone.
Before we go on, Vientos working him for 8 pitches was massive. Like that was a really good at bat that he won in the end. The 2, 3, 4 on the Mets lineup work him for 21 pitches and don't let him get an out. That was the nail in the coffin. It felt like, because it felt like they were going to score. And then Orion Kerkering came in and it got scary.
It sure did, because he's nasty.
Yeah.
He gets Iglesias to ground out. That was a good play.
Yeah.
Sosa bobbles the ball, but handles it and fires it home to get Vientos out at home.
Is Vientos like really slow? Like, is this like concerning?
He's not the fastest, but he's so big that it takes him a while to get into
accelerate.
position.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to check his sprint speed.
I just checked 23rd percentile.
Yeah, that's pretty slow.
Not the worst, but it's pretty slow.
Yeah, but he's huge. So like he's a big power hitter guy. It's rare to find, guys that can
if you hit 30 home runs, you can be slow. I mean, that's fine.
Shohei Ohtani is a unicorn on many levels. That's one of them. To be that big and strong and also fast, stupid.
Yeah, it's not fair.
But Vientos did everything he could. Sosa made a play and fired a strike. That's not an easy play.
No, not at all. After the bobble, it felt like a lock that we were going to get that run. This game was just like a seesaw of momentum. It really was, because I thought Nola pitched better than his line. Manaea obviously pitched great. And there were just so many micro moments in each inning where one team could have taken it away. And then, the other team just seizes right back. And that play right there encapsulates that. Sosa gets an easy ground ball, fudges it, bobbles it completely, and then just picks it up and fires a dot. Like, okay. Great.
Could have been a double play. It could have been a 4-2-3 double play, but he got the biggest out. Yep. Winker comes up and it's a lazy fly ball to left field, I think, and not deep enough to get the runner in. We are momentum shifting again because it's kind of the similar situation. Bases loaded, no outs to bases loaded, 2 outs.
Yeah.
To me, the at-bat of the game.
Yes, I was going to say you took the words right out of my mouth. At midnight last night, I'm home in bed and I'm reflecting on the game. This was the biggest at bat of the game. You are 1 out away from squandering bases loaded, nobody out in a 2-0 game where you need runs against an offense that can put together a big inning like that. And Manaea has a low pitch count, but if he gets into any trouble with a 2-0 lead this deep into the game, you're going to your bullpen. And half of our last episode was talking about how we basically don't trust anybody in the bullpen besides Reed Garrett. Marte takes a pitch. Kerkering throws him a pretty good, I think it's a slider, right?
It was that
dots
sweeper.
The low and away corner.
Yeah.
Marte just goes with it, sticks the bat out, muscles it to left center field, and he gets 2 runs home to make it a 4-0 game.
So Marte, I'm going to talk about this at bat, and then I'm going to talk about Marte as a whole. This at bat is incredible. And he throws 96 up and in, like way in off to move his feet, and then dots a sweeper down and away. That ball should not be hit because as a pitcher, you're taught move a guy back and it opens up the outside part of the plate. It literally is like chapter one in becoming a pitcher. Um, and he does that. I don't think he went up and in on purpose, but he took advantage of where the pitch went, down and away, a perfectly executed one. And Marte, that this is the thing for me. Marte is looking for either a breaking ball down and away or a fastball down and away that he can serve for a single or hit a gap. He is the epitome right now of what the Mets are trying to do, and him being down further in the lineup a little bit, doing this kind of thing. This is for every hit that he makes, it's as big of a home run as Pete Alonso hits.
Yes.
For me,
Yes.
because it's great at bats. If you don't dice him up, like guys have been getting him out in, up and in because he's trying to hit the ball the other way or up the middle, and he'll get jammed on a strike in and then make weak contact. Guys have been getting him out. But when you go the at bat and approach that he has a game plan. This is what they've talked about all season long. Have a plan when you're going to the plate and executing that. He has a plan. He doesn't deviate from it until the count, until he's playing defense.
Mm-hmm.
He gets a very good pitch from a very nasty pitcher. But because he's looking for it and he has an idea on what he wants to do, gets down, he's able to go get that ball and serve it in. The biggest swing of the entire game for me. It takes a 2-run lead to a 4-run lead.
And it's right after the Phillies blew their best opportunity. Like
correct.
Immediately after.
If he gets out there, the momentum shifts back because now the Mets blew an even better opportunity. But instead, he gets the huge hit for this team. You see the Phillies like on the verge of like, yeah, let's go. That primal scream that Manaea left out, they were wanting to do that thing too. And instead they got to like, oh shit, we were
Marte
so close.
took it from him.
He took it from him. It was like he has been locked in like this since the Atlanta series, maybe even before that.
I was gonna say this. My friend Steph, who's also on Mets Twitter, she made like a list of everything that Marte has done since that Atlanta series. And it's crazy. He has a role in every big moment of the past week. He had a single in the middle of the 6-run inning in Atlanta. He was the guy that got on ahead of Lindor when Lindor hit the home run to basically clinch the playoffs. He had the go-ahead sac fly in the first game of the wildcard series. That was a lead the Mets never let up. He gets the insurance run in the 9th inning of Game 3. Remember, he brings home Winker after Winker steals the base. He gets the insurance run in the top 8 of Game 1 in Philly, and then that 2-run hit in this game. So he's had a moment in basically every game of their playoff run. He's done something. He's been in the middle of everything. I think that his spot in the batting order right now is perfect because I talk a lot about how I love the bottom of our lineup. They're really good at resetting. They're still a threat. They don't roll over. He encapsulates that, and he gets things going for the top of the order. And for him to get like his own moment here was awesome. It felt like he was going to come through.
It really does. And I think that's the key because he feels like he's a clutch guy right now. And and it feels like that because he's obviously producing. But I just love his approach. That's why he's in all of these games. It's because Mendoza has been playing guys that are playing right at the right time. He's not afraid to pull Bader and put Taylor in or, move the order around, put Vientos back up, move, whatever the case may be. He's paying attention, and Marte has been so clutch in that spot and the way he's swinging and what he's trying to do. He is the ideal guy to be in that position in the lineup, and he's just become such a big piece of this offense. He's looked the best he's looked since his first year in the Mets uniform. He looks every bit the part, and that was just a huge at-bat.
A massive, massive at bat made even more big when Sean Manaea comes out and throws 7 pitches to get the next 3 outs, including a strikeout of Austin Hayes, where he just made him look silly. Um, that was cool. That felt like it could have been the end of his outing, but he only threw 7 pitches. I think he was at like 87 or something through 7 innings. So I think everyone was like, okay, maybe we'll see him. Maybe we'll see him. What helped with that was the Mets honoring their time tradition of scoring runs off Jose Alvarado, which I love. I know
I don't know how they do it. Alvarado's filthy.
I
They
don't
own him.
really get it either. I don't understand how he ever gives up runs because he throws like 101 and he can dot. But
And it's lefty with sink. Like you just
yeah,
don't see guys like that, but
but
didn't matter.
Vientos singles to him with 2 outs. So this is a 2 out rally, which 2 out, nobody on.
I don't have the numbers, but the amount of runs the Mets have scored with 2 outs this late run is, I think it's all of them almost, except for like the leadoff homers and stuff. But it's incredible the amount of 2 out route. That's the difference between a championship team and a team that doesn't win, is doing it with 2 outs. It's
Yep.
such a backbreaker to the other team and so clutch for your team.
When you let them imagine scenarios where they can get the momentum back and, get that primal pop off that you're talking about, get that energy going for their team, and then you steal that from them, it's so powerful. It's all about momentum and just, good.
From the pitcher standpoint, they've been making the mistake of, you get into a tough situation with nobody out, you get the first out, you get the second out. Sometimes guys will be like, I
Yeah.
did it, and then
Mhm.
let go a little bit. You can't take your foot off the gas pedal or take your head out of the vise until it's out. You
Yep.
can't celebrate beforehand or let your guard down at all. That's the difference. And these guys have been huge. Vientos gets that hit. I didn't love the pinch running for him with
Interesting.
Bader. Yeah, because I'm like, look, I want him. He might come up again. The
Yeah.
Phillies offense is never out of a game. And I was like, and if another at bat comes up, no offense to Bader, he's not Mark Vientos.
Yeah.
I would rather see Mark Vientos, but it works out because he gets a huge stolen base. Um, and he ends up playing some defense. So
Yeah, and that stolen base kind of helps Nemo get his walk because that base becomes open. Alvarado doesn't give him too much anything on the meat of the plate. They give nothing to Pete Alonso. I think he just totally loses the strike zone. I don't even think that was a pitch
the
around.
walk to Nemo, I kind of threw him for a loop because like left on left,
Yeah,
that's your guy. You
yeah,
got to
that's
get.
the guy you got to get.
He's got to get Nemo.
Yeah. Alonso walks on 4 pitches. They bring in Jose Ruiz. Um, Rob Thompson using his guys. So Ruiz appears the second straight game. Kerkering appeared a third straight game in this one, and Estevez pitches the next inning. It's a second straight game for him too. So those guys are getting put through the ringer, and the Mets are seeing them all and hitting them all. Because Jose Iglesias, who had a quiet night up until this point, whole crowd was serenading him with Jose, Jose, Jose. That was really cool. Very organic too. He gets his big moment. 2-run single, a couple runs scored. The Phillies botched the ball, so Alonso tries to come home. He's out. Kind of funny.
Slide,
Just
bro.
like dead duck. Just completely like walked up to home plate. Like,
You
yeah, I'm
did. He
out.
was like, all right. He stopped. Then he got tagged. That's how it should go. Like back in
Yeah.
the day, he tries to run that guy over.
Yeah, and that's just time and place.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Yet another clutch performance from the Mets with 2 outs. Like
Yeah.
Iglesias coming through there. Um, Huge. I mean, huge. Allows Sean Manaea to go back out for the eighth inning.
Yeah, you talked about exhaling and, you're not fully out of the vice yet. Mets fans understand that feeling because this game was 6-0, and those were a tense last 2 innings. At least being in the building, it did not feel secure at all. Manaea has to come out on a pretty tough play. He gets a ground ball that I think normally is an out. A little bit of a double clutch by Iglesias, who just moved to third base, bounces the throw.
That's an error.
I think that's an error. I know that Sosa's fast and he has a chance, but that should be an out, I think.
It's an infield single. That's an error. This is the big leagues. Come on.
I think Iglesias knows too. He was
didn't-
mad with himself. Like, he knows.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
again, we talked about Did we forget to mention the Vientos like throw across the
Oh,
diamond?
on Bohm. Yeah, that play was sick. I forgot
Yeah,
about
it
that.
was an unbelievable play. He's made really good plays. He's had an error, but again, I don't understand the switch on defense. Not questioning, it's easy to
Yeah.
question, but Vientos has a cannon.
He
And
said in his post game, he takes pride in his defense. I want to prove everybody wrong about my defense. So he's
I
got that chip
agree.
on his shoulder too. Yeah.
Perfect. That's great to work at in the offseason. I agree with him mostly because of his bat when he comes up. He's good enough on defense. This is how we say it.
Yeah.
Iglesias at second, Vientos at third, Acuna at second, Iglesias at third. Is it worth switching? I don't think so personally. I like it on for a number of reasons. Keeping Acuna involved, keeping him active and getting baseball activities. Iglesias is a better third baseman statistically, more sure-handed, will block everything. There's sometimes I get it, but I like to see star players stay in the game, and Vientos is a star. That's just
Yeah.
me.
And we saw a star player in Sean Manaea stay in the game in the eighth inning. So
Yeah.
I understand where that's
And
coming
that
from.
play that wasn't made got him out of the game. That's a tough
And
one.
it's tough because if you were ever gonna let Vientos finish a game, you might as well do it in a 6-0 game. You know what I mean? Like I understand playing it safe. It's the playoffs, all that. And normally Iglesias makes that play. Like I feel good about him at third base. So that's just
So
tough
here's the
circumstance.
reason why I like the switch. I
Okay.
would have Mania deserved it, but if he gets an out, he keeps going. Bringing Maton in a 6-0 ball game feels a lot
Yeah.
better for him to start to get things right. For the fans, it still gives you breathing room. If Mania goes up next and now it's first and third with nobody out and you have to bring in, Maton, it feels a little bit worse.
Yeah.
It's a little
No,
bit of a
I'm with
tight.
you there.
Yeah, and so he brings Maton in to face Brandon Marsh, who pinch hit, and he had to work, but he ends up punching him out. He's been using a sinker a lot lately because I think the consistency and then everybody is so laser focused on matchup and studying the opposing
Hmm.
pitchers and relievers and everything. They have an idea what he's trying to do, and he has everything that he throws is spins this way, goes this way, cutter, slider, sweeper, curveball, all goes this way. Then all of a sudden he throws this little sinker that goes this way.
Mm.
It's effective because your barrel's going this way. The ball's supposed to go this way and it hits the barrel, right? Well, when you go to hit it and all of a sudden it comes back this way, that's weak contact. And
Yep.
it makes a difference. I love the fact that he's been using it, that Alvarez has been smart enough to start going to it. It shows an adaptability and a presence of mind to stay in the moment, not just go to, what you're supposed to throw and read what's happening. Huge strikeout there
Yeah.
of Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, that was a big swing in the inning because he walked Schwarber, a pretty decent pitch around there. I don't think he wanted to let him hurt him. Goes after Trey, gets a pretty funny ground out, a rare one where it goes up the line and Maton just grabs it and just beats him to the base, like walks in front of him. It's kind of weird. And
By the
Maton's
way,
an out away. What's up?
yeah, the fielder has right of way in that
Yeah,
situation.
that's what
So
kind of scared me. I was like, Trey could have made something happen
that
there.
was a weird one. Yeah, it was a weird one. The ball went straight down and went at 50 miles an hour. It's a good play.
It was an instant bad vibe because Trey's, fastest guy on the team and he can get down the line. I was like, if there's any bobble or any trip here, it's an infield single and we're
He's wildly
screwed.
slow out of the box.
You think so?
Yes. He's hit into so many double plays in his career that it baffles me. He's got a really long swing and follow through.
Yeah.
So you know how Iglesias has so many infield singles?
And he's like running with the ball when he hits it.
Yeah, he just, he's running as he's swinging. Trey Turner does not do that, and he grounds out a lot. And you're
Mm.
like, dude, you're one of the fastest dudes on the planet. That should be a hit. But he's got that long finish of his swing, and so he gets out of the box slower than you think.
Yeah, but he also has that home run power, so it makes sense. That's that
Yeah,
trade-off, I
it's a
guess.
trade-off.
Yeah. So it's Bryce Harper versus Phil Maton. And I do agree with you. If you want to get Maton right, I mean, Maton, I know we live in a what have you done for me lately kind of world right now. This is a guy that had a 2.5 ERA with the Mets in 30 games. Like, this is a guy that you trusted in massive spots in the regular season. You have to get him right. You have to give him
You're
ample
going to
opportunity.
need him if you want to get to the World Series championship, you're gonna need him to be sharp.
Yes, and
Six
I
nothing
heard tons of fans like, why is he still in? Like, why? It's like,
because you can't bury the same guys over and over and over and over again. This is why baseball's tremendous. Your whole team, especially in a 7 game series, your whole team has to chip in.
yep,
Maybe not you're the bottom 2 or 3 guys in the bullpen, but they'll probably pitch maybe once. But 6-0 with a runner on and nobody out is the perfect time to try to get one of your important pieces in the bullpen locked back in. So I love the move for Maton because if he's in, your team is so much better when he gets locked in.
fully agree. And he got his shot against Bryce. Bryce worked him, got a hit. It's Bryce Harper. Makes sense. Phillies get on the board. Ryan Stanek comes in. Stanek has been a playoff dude for us. This is such a funny sport, man. Like, it's such a silly sport that this guy was ousted from the Mariners, blew their biggest game of the season against the Royals, like prevented them from being in the playoffs. He blew that game. He is now your big game guy. Like, he's the guy. When I saw his name on the warming up screen, I got excited because I was like, cool, he's going to get us out of this one way or the other. He comes in, throws 96 inside to Castellanos. Castellanos hits it because I think that's the first inside pitch he's seen all day. Um, that brings home a run.
Smokes it.
Yeah. So it's 6-2, 2 men on. Bohm comes up. Bohm doubled and well, it's singled in the game, got cut down. But he's been swinging a better bat, and he lines the first pitch. It puts a scare in the crowd. You can feel
It
it.
was scary on
It
TV
was,
too.
yeah, because you felt like it had a chance of falling, but
It-
that's where Bader comes in.
exactly. This
Yeah,
is what Harrison Bader is in the game for. Great read coming in. Like he does a great job. That was he went 96 down and in to Castellanos that ripped it. He went 98 plus up and in to Bohm and he hit it like just soft enough where it was like, oh shit, sinking line drive. But
yeah,
Bader's been a pleasure to watch defensively in the outfield and center field. Like all season long, like the way he tracks balls down in the gap, the way he comes in on these baseballs, it's been a pleasure to watch him. That's a huge, huge, huge out.
huge performance by Ryan Stanek. Just a massive performance. Um, Here's where I think this will get lost a little bit. The Mets got to see Carlos Estevez again, which I thought was pretty important because if the Phillies are going to win tonight, they're going to need their A guys. I think a little bit, I think they tipped their hand here. I don't think they had to use Estevez. I think they had I think Jeff Hoffman could have gone here again. He looked okay in game two. They go with the closer to try and keep it a 6-2 game. JD works him for a walk. He gets a few outs.
That was a
And
good
then,
out. By the way, that was a good
good.
walk from JD.
Yeah.
We've seen JD Martinez kind of cheat to try to get the barrel to the ball and get jammed in the process. He was there was a couple of close, semi-close pitches. It was a good job, a big walk.
Big walk. And that sets the stage for Lindor, who has been getting raucous ovations all night. He's 0 for 4 to this point. Crowd's been singing My Girl all night long. We're all waiting for, the guy we haven't seen in a month at home to get his moment. And Lindor, thankfully, runs into one and drives it down the line for a double. It scores the run. It puts Taylor at third base. Gives the Mets one of those runs back, which felt amazing to instantly get one of those runs back after Philly was trying to creep back into the game. 7-2 ball game. The Mets get to see Estevez and they hit him. So they've now hit Alvarado, they've hit Strom, they've hit Kerkering, they've hit Hoffman, they've hit Estevez. They've hit all 5 of your guys in the bullpen. Good luck.
A huge hit by Lindor. Amazing. Do you think so on the broadcast? I thought he was going to send Taylor like live watching it. And I didn't, you can't, obviously they're following the ball. Did you think they should have sent Tyrone from like the stadium standpoint?
I wouldn't have hated it because Bader's on deck and he's not really the guy that you're putting in there to hit. Obviously, you want him to get his at bats, but I wouldn't have hated it because you have a chance to, get a Philly misplay and you get both runs back and you really deflate them. Or, worst case, it's exactly like the Iglesias single where you instantly get the production and the inning's over. You instantly give the ball back to your pitcher. So either way, I wouldn't have hated to send there. But, Bader gets a chance. He hits a ball pretty deep to center field. So all's well that ends well, I guess.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I just didn't know if you had a view of it where you're like, send him, send
I
him.
thought it was going to be a send, but I was also
Yeah.
like drunk as a skunk, wanting as many runs as possible. So I'm telling
Yeah,
everybody to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. You
Yeah.
got when you drink, you get the windmill going.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
screaming send. I'm scaring people around me in section 524.
Love it.
Ninth inning rolls around. Stanek stays in. I think they had Diaz throwing, if I remember correctly.
He was ready to, in a save situation, to bail guys out. He was
Yeah.
up, moving. I agree with keeping Stanek in.
I thought Mendoza, again, we say this every episode. I thought he did a really good job in this game. I thought he pushed a lot of the right buttons. Stanek goes 1-2-3 because he's that guy. He just punches out Cody Clemens and screams on the mound because he's that guy. The Mets win 7-2. And not only is this a victory for, the series itself going up 2-1, but it's a collection of smaller victories too. Edwin Diaz gets an extra day of rest. Reed Garrett doesn't have to get used. So there's two guys you can use tonight that you're probably going to need. They stay away from David Peterson, who might have been the bulk guy in this game. There's three guys. And the top of the lineup stays firing. Alonso with another home run. Lindor gets an RBI hit as well. Mark Vientos goes 2 for 4. Nimmo with a couple clutch walks. The formula for this game stayed the same. And the Mets won in convincing fashion, a convincing, dominant victory for this team who have played exclusively back and forth affairs for the past 2 weeks. So it was not only refreshing to see, but also encouraging to see because this team still has this kind of win in them.
Yeah, that's this W that they put up last night is like how they play baseball.
Mhm.
Great starting pitching, clutch hits, a big home run, and a solid back end of your bullpen. That is a formula that the Mets have put together. And they didn't, like you said, they won a bunch of things. They didn't have to use all their bullpen. The Phillies did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Phillies had their number 2 guy, or, Aaron Nola, their second biggest starter. And they knocked him out early-ish. It was just a wonderfully played ball game that it felt like, for the most part, that they were going to win the whole time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it felt like they were going to win the whole time. In Philly, that the game 2 that the Phillies came back, it felt like, ooh, on edge. This is going back. It's anybody's ball game. This felt like Mets had it in the bag. And a lot of that is due to that crowd, but just clutch performances.
Yeah. So since his leadoff home run to start the series, Kyle Schwarber is now 1 for 11. JT Realmuto is 0 for 9. Alec Boehm is 1 for 10. Like this team is just neutralizing some of the Phillies' best weapons. Some of their most clutch postseason performers have been almost non-factors in this series, and that is just such a key to all of this. Like Harper and Castellanos got to shine in game 2. They both get one hit in this game and an RBI. But if that's the amount of damage you're letting up to the heart of this order, and the rest of the guys on the Phillies team can't contribute, it's hard to see the Mets losing today with their pitching staff going. They have Jose Quintana, who just had the performance of a lifetime, and they have the 3 guys in the bullpen that I think they trust most outside of Ryan Stanek. This was a win on so many levels because it demoralized Philly after they got some momentum, and you protected your pitching plan for tonight. Just a dream win for this team.
Very, very good natural setup. If they can lock it down,
don't let it go back.
Yeah, if they can lock it down tonight at home, this would be the first postseason series clincher in Citi Field history.
Yes.
They've never done it at home. That would be so dope to see, like, them celebrate on the field, see the fans get to celebrate. celebrate in their own clubhouse. Shout out
Hmm.
Kevin Kierst and the home clubhouse staff for, having to clean that up. But look,
Oh yeah.
it would be ideal. Then they get rest and their bullpen can get rested up and they can prepare for the next series. Again, this Phillies team is a real deal contender. They fight. They will bring their A game. They will not roll over. Bryce Harper will fight every one of them if they want to do that. That dude has ice in his veins.
Yep.
I look for shit like small, I look for little things from guys. Big deep breath in a moment, trying to settle their nerves or like focusing in. Harper gives me zero signs that he's even a human.
Yeah.
He's just like, all right. He takes close pitches. He's up there. Like he just looks so calm. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Harper, but they are about to, they're on the edge. I don't know. They won't save Zach Wheeler, I don't think. I think he'll be available out of the bullpen for them.
If Ranger gets into any trouble, I have to imagine they use him.
Yeah, he'll be coming in on a day short of full
Three
rest.
day, I think it's 3 days rest.
Yeah, so 3 days rest. Ideally, they don't want to use him on 3 days rest because then you get the day off and he gets to
Yeah.
pitch with an extra day, that kind of thing. Um, but he'll be available. They have all hands on deck for an elimination game. It'll be interesting to me to see how the Mets play this out of the bullpen. We talked a little bit about David Peterson being a weapon out of the bullpen. He was iffy yesterday. I think Severino might have been available.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that kind of like so again, they're playing the Mets are playing to win too. They're not saving anything. If
no.
they have a chance, they're going to go for it. Obviously they understand circumstances. And Mendy has been unbelievable all season, especially in these playoffs where moments aren't too big. I'm interested to see how they have things stacked up if all goes according to plan, who comes in and what situation. Ideally, it would be just like tonight with like a 6-0 lead, allowing
That'd be nice.
Bringing Jose Budo in to try to get him some confidence moving on, all the above. But I tell you what, man, this is an exciting game, and I cannot wait for this game to start.
Yeah, I'm just mentally counting down every minute until 5 p.m. tonight. Yeah, I mean, you put that well. The Mets have done a lot of celebrating recently. It's all been on the road, but in 2015 specifically, their biggest run, they won in Game 5 in the DS, and then they swept the CS. So they were on the road for those celebrations too. Citi Field has been waiting over a decade to have a champagne party under its roof, and tonight could be the night. And it would be really cool for these guys because I think they deserve it. I think they've earned it. And I think that they are playing better baseball than the team that I maintain is the best team in baseball. Like the Mets drew a pretty tough card having to play the Phillies this early in their playoff run because this is a buzzsaw. This is a team that can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. You saw that in game 2. It's a machine built for October, and the head of that machine is Bryce Harper. Like you said, he is the head of the snake, and they're built for moments like this. They've demonstrated that they can handle moments like this on big stages, and somehow, some way, this New York Mets team is holding them at bay and not letting them to play into their strengths. And they only have to do it for one more game. They have all the advantage in the world. They have to get it done tonight.
I'll tell you, the Phillies fans are feeling the same way about, damn, we got to play the Mets.
It's a
Like,
pretty cool feeling to be feared like that. It's pretty neat.
yeah, man, it's glorious. This has been such a fun thing to do, talking to you after every game, preparing ourselves, talking through
Mhm.
the getting our emotions and thoughts out.
I
It's
still
been
loved
fun.
our game 2 pod. That was nice for me. I like that. I know we lost and it was kind of a downer, but it was nice to get all that emotion out.
Yeah, to get it out, to talk through it, especially with the Diaz stuff. I
Yeah.
thought that was nice. But this is exciting, man. Thank you guys for listening and following
Mm.
along and giving us a reason to talk to each other, to put out into this world. It's been fun, man.
Yeah, so Ranger Suarez and Jose Quintana go tonight. Lefty versus lefty. Season on the line for the Phillies. With Ranger, I'll say a couple things before we wrap up. The guy's got a 1.62 ERA in the postseason in his career, both as a starter and a reliever. He's been there. He's done that. Against the Mets this year, he had 3 outings. They were all the same, I think. Yeah, all of them were 5 innings, 2 runs. So hopefully the Mets do that tonight and they get a nice start out of Jose Quintana. I think you'd like that a lot.
So
Yeah, keep the ball going out of the ballpark, keep pitching well, all that good stuff.
here Peterson will be out of the bullpen tonight.
Yes.
He's such a weapon to have out there. If they have to use him tonight, they will. Obviously, he would, they have Singa pitching tomorrow. I imagine he's going to get the start again. And then they would have Severino to kind of piggyback him for like the bulk innings. They'll deploy Peterson if they have to. A lefty against this lineup in a big spot, he would be the guy. And I love that matchup. He's such a weapon. And if they don't have to use him, even better. But if they need him and they need more than 1 inning, I think that's the guy they call upon.
Someone called him David Bumgarner, which really made me laugh because it's
Easy
just
on
the
that.
big lefty coming out of the pen to
That's
shut down
funny as
the
hell, though.
offense.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, hopefully we get even a shred of Bumgarner-esque performance from him. But I'm excited, man. We're going to be streaming tonight on the Shea Station channel, not on JM Baseball. We're going to be right here. So make sure you tune in. I'm going to need as many people in there to support me as I'm supporting you. Because I think we're going to be emotionally fragile tonight going through the motions of this game. But it's fun. This is what you ask for. You ask for them to win that turning point game of the series, maintain control, keep your home field advantage, set your pitching up. They did everything right yesterday. Everything that could have gone right did go right for the Mets yesterday. All they got to do is finish the job. That's it.
Absolutely. All right,
Let's
bro.
get it done. Hopefully we have a
Let's go
happy
Mets.
pod for you tomorrow.
That'll be great.
Hopefully we do. Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Jerry and Charlie, Shea Station. Jerry and Charlie, thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you next time, where we'll be back for more.
Shea Station.